Hello, my name is Scott Washington and I'm the director of 40 Stories. Today I wanted to take a brief look at some of the design choices we've made through developing and playtesting 40 Stories. If you're not familiar with 40 Stories, you play as the disgruntled technical support employee Anita Hint. In your desperate attempt to leave your office early, you discover a mad scientist who alters reality of your office building, as well as gives you the ability to duplicate yourself via copy machines. When designing puzzles in 40 Stories, we established a few policies that we implemented into each level. These rules include give the player immediate feedback, the player must understand all the rules for each device, and you must be able to complete the floor if you're still alive. Today, I'm going to show you off these policies throughout a floor I created, Floor 10. First of all, immediate feedback was important to us. We wanted to make sure that the player could understand what was going on at all times. This was first evident in the controls. Using either the WASD or arrow keys, you can move Anita, which was one of the first things requested by everyone. Having Anita move tightly when you press or release the keys was crucial for our puzzles, as many of our puzzles have pretty exact timing, sharp controls, and death traps. We also only include one action button. First of all, immediate feedback was important to us. Be confused as to what buttons does which action. Whenever you use the action key, some type of device appropriate sound is played. Even if you press it away from a device, it spurts out a gentle air beep. In 40 Stories, we have multiple devices that the player can interact with, including terminals, copiers, fax machines, and pressure plates. These devices have different states that they could be in, including ready to be used, being used, counting down, and more. To differentiate between these states and convey them to the player, we applied a simple color code to all devices. For instances with multiple objects, like these pressure plates, we separated matching devices and unified their colors. Unfortunately, at this distance, colors in UDK are hard to differentiate from, so we must reuse some of our colors from our color code. As for the rules for each device, we demonstrate this usually by lighting up the affected targets of the device. When you're close enough to use something, we'll light up the appropriate object so that the player understands the puzzle without having to memorize it. As I touch this first pressure plate, it changes from blue to yellow, to signify that it's being used. When I step off the plate, it turns back to its original color, ready to be activated again. When used, you may also notice that we turn on a light under the door in which it opens, letting the player know what this plate affects. But since this is not the plate we need first, I'm going to move on to the green plate. As I hit it, multiple events occur. First, it turns purple, signifying that this is a time plate. A clock then activates, letting the player know that time is short. Lastly, it lights up a previously unlit plate, telling the player to notice it. Once all the plates are activated in order, the green lit door opens for the player. As we activate the copy machine, we could then move on with the puzzle, opening doors with the cloned Anita. The player must then learn from this outer ring how to move along the curved walls. While pressing up, I can move both players along the walls, much quicker than I can moving them independently. Once we have both Anitas together, you'll have to look out for the deadly paper shredders, as they will cut you up. They weren't there to be mean, but to solve the last rule, that a floor must be beatable if you're still alive. There are points where if you're not careful, you could trap an Anita inside a ring without the other, rendering the section unbeatable. These shredders were placed so that the player can destroy Anita to create another one. As long as you can position your Anitas carefully, you then must use the wall technique to activate the multiple touch plates, opening the next door. Next is another sequence plate section, followed by a simple touch plate lowering the end door. The fax machine can then take your Anita to beat the level. After defeating each level, 40 Stories plays a sweet rock theme, rewarding you for your hard work. The screen also displays many different stats we track, including your time and amount of deaths, which is also available from the main menu. Thanks for watching, and 40 Stories is available now at 40storiesgame.com.